Colleen and Llalla from the Carolina Raptor Center. Thank you again for joining us live from your very own houses. Today we're taking Llalla out just to do a little bit of exploring and enjoying this nice day.
So Llalla is a red-legged Seriema. These birds are native to South America and usually live in grassland areas, places that are very open. They spend a lot of time on the ground. In fact, these guys can run up to 40 miles an hour, which is really impressive. So they spend most of the time just walking around, looking for food, foraging, looking for a mixture of things. They'll eat mammals, lizards, insects, and even eat some fruits and some vegetables as well. So they have a very complex diet that they eat out in the wild.
As you can see, he's got those beautiful long legs. Those legs are used for running. He is a very fast bird. He can run up to 40 miles an hour, and he's able to do that using those long, powerful legs of his. It's really important for his legs to be long so he can see over the grasses in the grasslands where he's native to. And it's also really good for jumping. He has a really good jumping ability when he wants to snatch bugs right out of the air.
So he can fly, they just prefer to spend most of the time on the ground. So if he were to build a nest, they would typically build nests in trees, in smaller trees, build them with sticks, layer those with mud, and hop up there when they need to. And they, of course, they can get away from any kind of predator, anything that they might see as threatening, by flying away. But again, they're spending a lot of time on the ground, and they, of course, can run super fast, as we've been saying.
As you can see, he's busy looking around, seeing what he can find on the ground. On our walks, he's been known to pluck worms off the ground and different insects that he may find himself. So as you can see, that's what he's doing, showing off his foraging abilities.
We like to take him on walks as much as we can. It's really great for him to get out, stretch his legs, very enriching for his life. So we take him on walks, he looks around in these leaves and these grasses, and can interact with his environment around him. So we like to take him out into our sunny flight field that we have too, that's very open. And these guys sun, which means that they lay down on the ground and absorb UV rays. It's really great nutrition for their body. So they'll just sprout and soak up the sun, which is really cool. Unfortunately, we don't have the sun out today. It's just been rainy here, so we're not gonna get to see that, but it's very cool.
You guys may notice that we have these sticks with tennis balls on the end of them. These are called target sticks. And Llalla is trained to walk to the stick when we point it on the ground. This is a great training tool if we ever think he's going to get himself into trouble anywhere, or if we want him to focus back to us, we can point that, he runs right up to it, and he gets a treat for touching the tennis ball. A lot of our birds are target trained, and again, that's just a really good tool so they can roam around by themselves, and then we can call them back whenever we need them to focus again.
What does this call sound like?
What does this call sound like?
It's a really high-pitched noise. I don't think we're going to be able to have him do it today, but we can show you is hopefully his slamming behavior. So these guys are very unique in that they slam their prey to kill it. So Carol, if you don't mind bringing out our little rope toy, see if we can demonstrate it here. And we'll just give him a second to mess with it and see if we can get him going. There we go, that was great. Yeah, so they find a hard surface, just the ground or rocks, and they use that to basically smush up their prey so they can gobble it down. If that prey is too large to swallow whole, something that they can do as well is they can use those claws on their feet. They have a special little curved talon, and they can use that to help rip up their prey.
Well, apparently he killed it.
Yeah, that was enough.
Walking away from it. He's much more curious about the environment around him, which is just fine.
And checking out the camera. He's one of our bird show stars, so that we typically have a bird show in the summer that we do with a lot of our different species to really show off our natural behaviors, like that slamming behavior. We try to get him to call sometimes, but we have a variety of different birds, owls and vultures and things that are in that. Hopefully by the end of the summer we can actually have a bird show going and you guys will be able to visit, so be on the lookout for when we open. Something we also do with him is he goes on these roaming encounters. So we walk him on our display trail, so where our guests go to view a lot of our birds in their habitats. We like to sneak up on people and bring him out as a surprise, and so a lot of people really love getting to meet him up close.
Something unique about these guys too is they do tend to live with a small group of themselves. Unlike most raptors tend to be solitary. These guys don't mind family groups. And they will definitely call in unison with each other to let other families know that their territory is right where they are. We've tried providing them with a little bit of enrichment today too on his walk, but as you can see, nature is more enriching than the items that we've provided for him, and that's just fine.
Enrichment is really important for our birds here, so we really want to allow them to use different natural behaviors, and we can shift our enrichment to see what we want them to display in terms of a natural behavior. So if it's a bird that will forage a lot in the wild, we can mimic that by making a box like what we did here, a little foraging box with a bunch of vegetables. There's some worms in there that he's eating and some fruit as well. And so we can do a variety of things. Enrichment can be something really complicated and intensive to make, but it can be something as simple as putting a paper ball in a habitat and having an animal interact with it. So we try to make sure that we're stimulating our birds not only physically but mentally as well.
If you guys are interested in enrichment, on Friday we will be doing our live stream on how you guys can make your own enrichment at home to give to our birds when you guys are able to come and visit. It is a lot of fun making enrichment for these guys, and it's even more fun watching them interact. Or some will just totally ignore it, which is kind of funny as well. So stay tuned for Friday and we can make enrichment together for that video.
What's his favorite prey or food?
So we don't really know what his favorite thing is. We really just see what he likes to consume the most of. And so I would say here, blueberries are something that is very popular for him, and super worms, which are basically just mealworms. They're just a little bigger. So those are kind of his high value reinforcers. So that's what we use a lot in his training. So it's something that he doesn't, it's something that he values as being a really nutritious, or something he really, we think he enjoys eating. And so we'll use it a lot instead of things like mouse, which are kind of his normal everyday go-to. He's very curious of Carol's shoes, as I'm sure you guys are seeing, the shoelaces.
Like I said, these guys are very curious birds, and we let them be curious, right? It's very stimulating for him to kind of think about what's going on. We don't know exactly what they're thinking all the time, but it's good for them. It's, like you said, enriching. Even going on walks like this can be very enriching for our birds, and we try to take them out as often as we can. He's a lot of fun to watch, so we're just going to let you guys watch him for a couple more minutes.
What kind of bird is he again?
He is a red-legged Seriema, and they are a long-legged species in South America. There's also the black-legged Seriema, which are just slightly different, really just the coloration on their legs.
Does he fly?
He does fly. Typically, they spend most of their time on the ground. We were talking about earlier their speed, and they can run up to 40 miles an hour, which is super impressive. If they were to ever need to evade a predator, they could fly up and get away. When we first started walking him, when he was a little younger, we would take him out on walks, and he was very curious about rooftops. So that's why this little target stick that we're using to call him back is very important, to establish a recall to come back to us. So he can explore all he wants, but if we sense there's any situation he shouldn't be in, we can bring him back to us really safely and make it a positive experience for him.
Is he the only one at your facility of this species?
He is. As of right now, he is.
How old is he?
He is somewhere 2 to 3 years old. We have so many birds here, sometimes it's hard to keep track of them all, but I want to say 2 to 3 years old.
We try and throw a big celebration at the beginning of the new year with 90
all the
some birds. We can't keep track of all of the hatch days, so we kind of just celebrate a new year with all of our birds.
He was born in April though, so I do know that much.
It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
How did he come to live here?
So he came to us from another zoo, another facility like ourselves, and he's here for education. So he is a really great ambassador for a species. He is a bird that we can bring out to the public, that people can connect with, learn about a bird that they wouldn't see in their normal backyard. And we talk about global conservation a lot, especially when it comes to habitat loss and deforestation, which is a big issue that we still face today. Something that's really helpful for habitat loss, especially in South America and in rainforested areas, is by looking at your food packages from the grocery store and seeing where that food is coming from. Always buy local if you can. It's going to help these guys out. A lot of farmland in South America is actually torn down, or rainforest areas are actually torn down for farmland, for cattle and for all kinds of meat. And then it's sent here and bought from us. So if you just look at that source of where that meat is coming from in the store, then you can help, really make an impact on the habitat.
Does he have any natural predators?
I can't think of anything specific off my head, but yeah, absolutely. Anything, if he was weak at any state, so if there was a bigger cat or something in the wolf-like family, anything like that. If he was weakened at any point, anything could really prey on him. So running really fast is going to be really important to that, and being able to fly away is also equally as important.
His talons are really sharp. They may not be as big as an eagle's talons, but he does have big talons on his feet that also can act like weapons if he needs to use it as protection as well.
Can you go over what the sticks are for again?
Oh, the target sticks? Yeah. So this stick we train our birds to walk up or approach those sticks, and once they do so, they get a treat. They get a food reward for doing so. So he's getting a mixture of blueberries, worms today, and so we use it as a recall to guide him where we'd like him to go. So we ask him to come back to us. He seems like he's getting a little off path, and when he comes, he gets a nice juicy piece of mouse, or again, a worm or a blueberry, whatever we prep for him that day. So it's a really great training tool that we can use to enrich his life by taking him out on walks, and knowing that if there was ever a situation we were uncomfortable with him being in, we could get him back for that as well. And it's also how we can guide him to our trails where our guests come and walk around, so we can have him meet all our guests up close and personal. We try to do some nose to beak experiences here and get people as close to our birds as we can. We feel like, if people can see our birds and really connect with them, then they're going to want to do something for the natural world.
Again, very curious about a lot of different things. He just untied my shoe.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for joining us. Again, I'm Colleen. This is McKenna. And this is Llalla, our red-legged Seriema. Thanks for joining us. We're going to still try to do these every weekday at 11 a.m. even though, you know, we are closed down and everybody has that stay-at-home order in Mecklenburg County. So we're going to still try to bring this content to you guys. We hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy this, please support us. We have a donate button. If you are feeling generous, $1, $5, $20, anything like that goes to keeping our birds really healthy and allows us to do the job here that we do. Thank you guys so much.